Welcome to Meadowsweet Farm Fiber Arts Design Studio. My name's Bonnie, and this is a podcast about the textile arts, weaving, spinning, knitting, and just about anything that relates to the making of cloth. It's also about the rich history of textiles and what gave some of those makers inspiration. Meadowsweet Farm is where I live, with a Doberman, a cat, my horses, and of course, my family. So please join me as I share my creative life with you. Today's episode, I'm going to share with you some works in progress, and I'll take you on a little journey where I go to Connecticut to visit my daughter. So join me, grab your coffee, tea, whatever, and sit back and relax as I share my creative process with you. Hi guys. I have filmed this, I think like 3 or 4 times. I can't seem to get my act together. So I guess the third time's the charm, right? So welcome everybody. I hope everybody's doing really well. Today is August the 13th. It's Saturday. And it is an absolutely gorgeous day here in southwestern Pennsylvania. There's Scarlet Kitty. I just left her in. She'll probably be hopping up here pretty soon. Anyway, yeah, it is so pretty out today. So I was up early. I went to the feed mill, got some grain for the chicken. I'm gonna get on the tractor and do some mowing. And then I'll do some weeding. And if I have time, I probably will run out of time, but if I have time, I might take a trip over to a little place called Swickley, and they have a yarn shop over there, and I haven't been there for forever, so I might take a little jaunt over there. So I thought I would get on and just say hello. I have some flowers right there. I don't know, there's like a white spot right there. I don't know what that is. Anyway, my yellow roses are right behind me. I picked those so you could see them in the podcast. That rose bush, it's not very big. I just planted it last year. And midsummer, it just looked awful. It was being eaten by something. So on, I think it was somebody's podcast that I was watching, they said to take some soapy water, Dawn, put it in a spray container and spray it. So I did that with all my rose bushes, and they're all doing great, going gangbusters. So I'm really pleased with that. So what I thought I would do today is I'm going to show you some things that I'm going to be working on over the next couple months. Something that I'm almost finished with. I think I can finish it. I'm going to try to get this one project done over the next couple days. And then at the very end, I'll share a farm update and a studio update. I'm turning my garage into my studio space, so I will share just a little progress on that. And then I'll take you on a little tour. My daughter and I went to visit my daughter in Connecticut. And so we visited a yarn shop. I don't have too much footage there. I didn't know if I should take the camera in or not, but I did take some photographs and just of our little mini vacation together. So I'll share that with you if you want to stick around. So, all right, let's get to some of the things that I'm working on. So the very first thing, when I was at the yarn shop in Connecticut, the name of the shop is Westport Yarns, and it's not in Stamford. I think it's in Westport. I don't know. I just get in the car and they take me wherever we go. So I'm just happy to be along. But I am drinking a fizzy water with some Tetley tea in there. And it's ice water, iced tea. So. Anyway, this is a pattern by Loopy Mango, and it's called Puff Sleeve Top in Dream. So I just really liked it. I thought it would be nice and airy, something you could wear in the winter or, you know, in the spring and summer months. So I bought this Loopy Mango, and this is their 100% merino wool, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it. This is really nice yarn. It is so lofty, so airy, and it is extremely lightly spun. Almost you could say that it's a roving, but it has, they plied it with a really thin piece of thread that gives it a ton of strength so you can't pull it apart. But this is gorgeous. And price-wise, it's not really that expensive. You know, to make the sweater that I'm making, I think it calls for four of these. And I finished the back, and you can see it's really airy, very light. I just did a regular cast on. If I were gonna do this again, I think I would do a stretchy cast on, because I think it's big enough that I shouldn't have any problems getting that over my hips. But yeah, so it's really just really light and airy. The pattern calls, I put it on this, I forget what these things are called, but you stick your knitting needles in there, and I'll talk about something related to this pattern and using these in a second. But I just wanted to make sure that it was the right size, that it wasn't too long or too short. So I'm gonna finish the other panel, and then I'll put it on and just see how it feels, and see if it might be too long. So, but what the pattern calls for, so you're using the Loopy Mango yarn, but it calls for, when you do the ribbing, it says to use a number 10, US size 10, or I'm sorry, US size 15, and it's a 10 millimeter. So those are pretty bulky needles to use. But then when you get to the main body, they want you to use US 19, which is a 15 millimeter. And let me just, now I'm doubting myself. Okay, US 10, 15 millimeter, US 19, US 15, 10 millimeter, US 19, 15 millimeter. So that's what it is. Okay, I'll have to pick those up in a second. So anyway, these are great. I'm sorry. I'm just hearing things falling on the floor. These are great because it feels like you're making a lot of progress because the stitches are really so big. But I'm not used to holding this cumbersome of a needle, so I have to kind of be a little careful. But it's fun, it's different. It's I haven't used something this bulky before in a long time. So yeah, so this is fun. I love the yarn, and the pattern is extremely easy. I got through this in a couple days, and I was actually, I was back at school and traveling back and forth, and I was still able to get this done, which is nice. So right now, I'm on the second panel, and what I ended up doing was I used the US 15 for the ribbing because I had that needle size, but then when it came time to do the body, I didn't have the US 19s, but I did have a US 17. And so what I did was I made the larger pattern with the smaller gauge needle. So I think it's gonna still be a little big because this is extremely stretchy, and if I block this out, I mean, this is really big. So, but I'm gonna leave it like this. I might not block, I might just leave it like it is, like this, and try not to stretch it out too much. So, but I really like this a lot. I think it's so easy. It's like the easiest pattern. So, so I have that, and then my daughter, she actually picked this out when we were in the yarn shop. She's not a knitter. She doesn't, neither of my daughters sew or knit, which is okay. I'll make them anything they want. But I did get the same color that is this. So I'm gonna make this for Jacqueline because she said she wanted it. So Samantha, if you want one, let me know. So yeah, so I should be able to get this done pretty quickly. And let's see. Oh, I wanted to tell you about these. I have these. I don't remember when I bought these, and I don't remember if they're expensive or not. But these are clover, and these are the number 15. And I pulled these out as a just in case, and I was using these. And the cord is a teeny weeny bit stiff, but not too bad. The join on this clover product is actually really nice. I really like it. You can't feel it at all. So these are really nice wooden knitting needles. They're bamboo, and yeah, I don't remember buying these, but I'm impressed. I like these. Okay, so that's that. The other thing that I'm working on, I don't have any finished objects, but the other thing that I'm working on is my planting seeds shawl, and I took that with me to when I went to Connecticut, and and I also took it when I went to Bluefield, and I left it in Bluefield. So as I was knitting this, I'm thinking, oh, I might get done with this. I need a home shawl that I can work on while I'm at home. So I caked up 2 shawls, 2 yarn shawl quantities, and I did that yesterday. So before I tell you about this one that I'm gonna do a little cast on, one of my viewers asked, she saw I was scanning up, or I was caking up some yarn, and I did just a little quick video filler of me using my ball winder. And so she asked if I would talk a little bit about that. So I took some footage of that yesterday, and I'm gonna insert that right in here right now. This is the Fiber Artist Supply Company. This is their ball winder, and I think this is their only model. I don't think they have any larger or smaller ones. This is really nice. It's extremely quiet. It comes with the elastic band that you attach on the drive wheel, and then the little pulley that attaches to the little shaft that holds the yarn. It's very simple to put it together when you get it from the company. You can see there's a little pulley at that end, and it also comes with a clamp that's pretty easy to use, and so you just insert that into the base of the platform. And you're all set to go. I use an umbrella Swift for my skeins, and it works pretty good, but I know the Fiber Artist Supply Company, I know they make a Swift, and it's very beautiful. And the wood on this is just gorgeous. So you just attach the yarn into that slot. And away you go. I don't do this very fast because sometimes the skeins on the Swift don't unwind evenly, so sometimes you get a little bit of a jam up. But like I just did right now. And that noise you're hearing is my Swift. It's not the ball winder. I love that ball winder. It's really nice. I had one of the plastic ones, and it just made so much noise. And sometimes, I mean, I don't know if all of them are like this, but the little thing that holds the yarn, sometimes it would fly off, and it just, I didn't like it. So I was really happy to be able to get that one. They do have a Swift, and I'm thinking I might get that, so later on down the road. Okay, so you know how I feel about Helen Stewart. I love Helen Stewart, and like I said before, if I saw her, I know I would be tongue-tied. I love her patterns. I can't say, she's so organized. There's just something, that's, she's very organized. Her patterns are, you just do a little checklist of everything, and you can keep your place really easy. There's enough where you kind of have your stationary knitting when you just you know, just mindlessly knit. And then you have some more intricate, but the intricacy of her patterns is not overwhelming. You can always figure it out. In her pattern, she gives you places to go, resources to go, to understand the stitch better if you're a more visual person and you haven't made that stitch before. So I just love her patterns. And then her names of her patterns just really resonate with my spirit. I just like the thoughtfulness that she puts into each and every pattern that she writes. And no, I'm not getting any kickback from Curious Handmade. I just am such a fan of hers. So so this is called Piece of the Wild Thing shawl. I can't say that word right. And I love it. I love it, love it, love it. It has little beads, seed beads in it. Okay, so this is going to be something new for me to try to do the seed beads. And so I'll take them out. So the pattern calls for number 6. So there they are. And this is the yarn. And this is Emma's Simply Soft Base, and this is called Best Buds, is the name of the colorway. And this is merino and my mind is drawing a blank. Nylon. Duh. So yeah, this is I've been wanting. I bought. It was not this past year, but last year I did the color of the month. I had a significant birthday year, so I did the color of the month, and I believe this is March's color for 2021. So I love this. So I have a whole bunch of Emma's sock yarn. I did get some in the silk and merino, and that is beautiful. It's really drapey. So I've got this that I'm gonna do a teeny weeny cast on. What I did is I went and got my needles, and usually what I like to do is I like to get my project all together, put the needles in here, get everything that I need, put everything together in its little project bag. And then the day that I start, because I lose notebooks, and you know, I just like everything all together. So I just write somewhere on here the day that I started, and then as I'm working through the pattern, I usually do this at the very end, I'll make a couple notes about how I felt about the pattern, if I had any problems with it, and then I give the date that I finished the pattern. So if I decide to make the pattern again, then I have something right here to refer to. So yeah, that's Helen. Okay, so that's that. Then I haven't picked the yarn for this one, but I love this shawl. And this is called Kindness Shawl. I think I might have the yarn for this, but I don't. I made a Helen Stewart, of course, the 100 Acre Wood Shawl, and I had this similar yarn that I was thinking would look nice with this, but I'm just afraid it's gonna be too similar. So rather than make a shawl with it, I feel like I should make something completely different, but I don't know. It would look really pretty. So anyway, I'm gonna get everything ready for this one. I just have to pick out the yarn. And I think this is, it's fingering weight, and I think it's just one skein. Okay, so that's a project. So I'm lining myself up for fall. Oh, by the way, this might be a Rhinebeck sweater. So I joined the Cocktail Hour at the Coop, their Patreon group, which, oh gosh, we have so much fun. It is the best group ever. So we had a little knit night on Thursday, and they were talking about Rhinebeck. And if Jacqueline's listening, she hasn't heard this yet. Mom's coming back. But my daughter lives close to the train station in Connecticut. And I asked one of the ladies, well, you know, how far of a train ride is it? How long? And they said like an hour from Stamford. So if I went and stayed with Jacqueline, I could just, I mean, it's like right across the street, I think, just about from where they live. You just pop on the train, and they said once I got to Rhinebeck, I could just call an Uber and then go to the festival, and I mean, it would be so easy. And then come back and spend the night with my daughter again, and her husband and Lexi. So, so we'll see what happens. But if I go, I'll take that sweater. Okay, the other shawl, I love making sweaters. I like making socks. I haven't made that many socks, but there's just something about shawls that I love. I just like making them. I want to try to do my own pattern design of a shawl. So, but I feel like I need to have a couple more under my belt, and I really want to study the different shapes, a lovely yarn. I watched her podcast the other day. She's one of my Pennsylvania podcasters, Amber, if she watches. Hi. I love all her stuff. But she was talking about, it wasn't a triangular, I forget the shape. It was just an odd shape, and she said she really had trouble wearing it. It just, she never felt comfortable with it. So, so I'm gonna look at the different types of shawls and different shapes and see if I can figure out how to do my own little design. But anyway, I did start this, the Sherbet Fizz, and I have this in a bag. I actually have the yarn on the needles. It's upstairs, so I'm gonna pull this out and do a little bit of work on this as well. So the Amber, when I watched her podcast yesterday, she had, she finished up a shawl, and it's called Out of Winter, and it's by a designer by the name of Tammy Gore. And Amber did a beautiful job of selecting gorgeous colors. So there's the shawl. Let me see if it gives. There's a full version of it. It's just really pretty. So, so whenever I was winding up and doing the demonstration for my ball winder, I caked up yarn for that shawl. So again, I'm trying to use all of my Emma's yarn, and this is the Practically Perfect Sock yarn, and this is called Weather Vane. And no, the light isn't all that great in here today. It's about noon. But it has little flecks of yellow and gold, and it's got like a mauve-y color. So I thought this would be the body. And then wait till you check this out. I wasn't paying attention when I was winding my yarn, and somehow one of the strands got looped around the base of the ball winder. Oh my God. What happened? It's still good. So here we have a perfectly wound skein, and then we have the one, look, in the center you can see it started out perfect, and now it looks like a flying saucer. So, but anyway, these are the two colors that I thought I would use, and so yeah, so I'm gonna get started on that. Okay, so acquisitions. I bought a couple things, and I'm trying really hard, even though I did spend the money on the loopy mango. I'm really trying hard not to buy yarn and not to go to Joann Fabrics. I'm really, really trying hard. So I bought, what you heard falling was a couple little stamps. I like to keep journals, and I don't do anything fancy. Oops. There you go, my battery's dying. I don't do anything fancy. I just get like a nice notebook, and I just, I just jot down my thoughts. I do have a blog, and it's called Fads, capital F, capital A, capital D, capital S. And I do write in that occasionally, like almost once a year. And I am gonna make an effort to write more in my blog. But I like to just jot down my thoughts on paper, and just, sometimes you're taking notes about something, you're thinking about the things you have to do, and you just start jotting down things. So I bought 2 stamps that I could just, make things look fun and happy. So of course we have a bee skep, and a bee skep needs can you see that? A bumblebee. So I got these. They're from pegstamps.com, made in the USA. And then I couldn't stop when I was looking for rubber stamps in Etsy. It's called the Plant Atlas, and everything is ordinary and you are special. They're made in China, and it's Mr. Paper, I think is the name of the shop on Etsy. But it's a couple different rubber stamps. It comes in this really cute little box, so you can keep everything together. And so the stamps are 2 mushrooms. These I think they're either bluebells or lilies of the valley. We have a little fern. I'm not sure what, it's a leaf of some kind, and of course my pine cones. So whenever I'm writing or doodling, or if I send a handwritten letter or card, I can always add these. So, speaking of blogs, I was watching a YouTube channel, an almost knitting blog, almost knitting channel, something like that. I think her name's Michelle, and she has a blog, and she was talking about it yesterday. And one of the questions she asked, her audience was, blogging was really popular, I think, in the early 2000s, and she wanted to know if anybody had any old-time favorite blogs that they watched. So the one that I followed or watched followed was, I don't know if you remember Jane Brockett. She was a phenomenal photographer, and she had the prettiest blog. And she wrote this book, The Gentle Art of Stitching, and then I think this was her first one, The Gentle Art of Domesticity. So it's stitching, baking, nature, art, and the comforts of home. And her theme was just that, just making your home comfortable, relaxing, enjoying for your family. It's funny because when you think about it, and I think somebody told me this a long time ago, we only use our best china for special occasions like Thanksgiving or Christmas, or if we have guests over for dinner. But, it's a real art to celebrate every day and pamper yourself with those things that you cherish, that you enjoy looking at, that make you happy, that are beautiful, that you shouldn't just save your best silverware and your best china just for those really special occasions, that every day that you have dinner with your family, every day that you have dinner, every day you wake up and have that special cup of coffee should be a special moment for you, because our days are so filled with busyness and stuff, that we have to do, that we need to take those special moments out of our day every single day and enjoy and embrace those moments. And why not, to the best of your ability, make your home, I have always felt this way, that I, try to make my home that safe, cozy, comfortable place that you can kick your feet up on the coffee table, and if you have muddy shoes and you get mud on the carpet, it's okay. It's only mud. That you use what you have, and you don't cover your furniture with plastic, and you use the quilts, you use the things that you bought because you thought they were beautiful. So that's what Jane did. And I remember one of my neighbors, whenever I first got married and my daughters were little, she brought that to my attention, because I had, I still have this beautiful dining room break front and these beautiful antique dishes. And she said, why do you not use these every day that you have dinner? Use them. Don't just let them sit there on the shelf. So I've really embraced that thought, and I try to appreciate the things that I have here and use them, and they live out their lifespan. If they get broken, they get broken. And then you'll find something else, I am sure, that will take its place, that will give you just the right amount of joy. So, yeah, so I'm gonna look her up. I haven't looked at that many blog posts in a while, but Jane Brockett is one that, if she's still out there doing this, I think that's great. In fact, I'm gonna look right now, see if she still has a blog. So bear with me. Okay, it looks like her last post was February 2015, but it says that she has an Instagram account. So she was originally Yarnstorm. She has a Facebook page, and she's written a couple books. So she's still out there. Let's see. No. Okay. So she's now on Instagram, which it's Jane Brockett. So let's see if there's anything else. Okay, I wanted to show you a couple books. So I have another YouTube channel that I am watching is Live. My brain. Hang on, let me find it. Live Wild Knits. And this is a young girl from Italy, and she lives with her partner, and she is just gorgeous. She does knitting, and everything that she makes is just beautiful, beautiful. And she makes the most gorgeous buttons, and she does sell them. She makes beautiful buttons from olive branches and olive wood, and they are just beautiful, and she shows how she does that. She takes her little bicycle into town and sends off her little packages, and I love her energy. She's got a great sense of humor. I've really been enjoying watching her. But she does a lot of things with foraging, and I'm really interested in that because of the farm and because of the woods that I have. So she did kind of a book review, and she recommended this book. And there are a couple other folks. I think Gaina from Tales from Cuckoo Land was reading this book, and then there was another podcaster that was reading this as well. So I just got this in the mail yesterday. I really haven't had a chance to look at it, but a lot of it is hand drawings in black and white, and it looks like it's a really, really good, a very good book to have. And then the other one, Edible and Medicinal Plants. I have several books related to this with different teas and different plant materials. I'm really enjoying the natural dyeing and the joy that it brings me collecting the dye stuff from the farm and seeing what beautiful colors that I get. I'm gonna try the few experiments that I've done so far. I really haven't followed an exact recipe, but I am gonna really start to look through the books that I have and do all the weighing and the measuring so that I can get consistent colors and repeat colors. So, but when I went to visit my daughter, Jacqueline and Lucas have started a plant-based diet, and not necessarily for weight loss, but more or less for just healthy eating, healthy living. And we had some really good conversations about different types of food and how they react to different body types. And one of the things that I have noticed over the last several years is that I kept, no matter how much work I did outside or exercise, I started to feel in the morning a lot of joint stiffness. And last spring, I noticed I was having a lot of back pain, lower back pain and hip pain. That after I would walk for not even very long, I would start to feel strain in my lower back and my hip. I did have, I had an injury. I fell off a horse probably about maybe 8 years ago. The horse was at a full gallop, and I literally I had no control. It was a friend's horse, and I literally had to just throw myself off. And I landed right on my back. And I mean, I've fallen before, but never like that. It really took the wind out of me. And I've been afraid to get on a horse ever since. But I thought that maybe I might have done something with that fall. So I had an x-ray done of the hip, and I had an orthopedic guy look at it, and he said no, there was no old injury there, and there wasn't even arthritis there. So I was wondering that maybe my diet is causing inflammation in the joints. So I thought, well, Jacqueline and Lucas are doing this, and we would go to restaurants, and I thought, I'm going to try and see, what this is all about. And kind of, the mindset of, a plant-based diet probably isn't all that tasty. So we would go to these restaurants, and I would get, these vegan dishes, and oh my gosh, I mean, the flavors just, and the crunch and the consistency, I mean, it's like an explosion. It's just so delicious. Ginger and just all these different flavors and combinations and things like that. So we went to Barnes & Noble, and I got 2 books that are plant-based recipes, and I've never done this before. So I have them here. So this one is plant over processed. And this is actually a lot of good recipes. She's from Hawaii, and she suffered from a lot of just those vague ailments. You have a headache, your joints are stiff, bloating, or whatever it is, you don't feel good. And she moved to Hawaii. She's always wanted to live there, and she moved to Hawaii. I think she went to college there, and she met someone that was following a plant-based diet. So she started this, and she said that everything changed. Her skin got better. All these ailments that she tried everything to correct seemed to slowly disappear. So I have been doing this for about maybe 2.5 weeks, and I have always suffered with eczema. That's pretty much gone. Within 3 days, I mean, I'm a cheese, cream in my coffee. I mean, like, I would be like, I have to have that every morning. That's my comfort in my special little cup, and, just enjoy my morning before I start my day. And so I use now the oat milk or the almond milk, and within 2 days, 2 or 3 days after I cut all the, no processed foods, no meat, and no dairy, I do not have back pain. None at all. I don't wake up stiff. My joints aren't stiff. So she does a 30-day kind of cleansing thing in here, which I'm following. And I am not going to say that I am going to, totally never have any processed food or meat ever again. I will, I'm not somebody that's, this tried and true, I like variety in my life. But it's amazing, when you really start to think about the food that we eat and how much that food really does provide so much energy and so much goodness, you know, to help our cells and help tissue growth and help. I'm gonna hang on to it so far. You know, I don't feel like I'm depriving myself of anything. In fact, I feel like, you know, it's kind of this journey, because all these new foods that I'm tasting, you know, I'm not using all the heavy salad dressings in my salad, and I'm actually tasting all the beautiful flavors, the natural flavors of the food, which is, it's fun. It's just kind of a different journey for me. So that's that book. And then this one is just filled with some really nice recipes. And this is called Oh, She Glows for Dinner. And this is by Angela Liddon. And this is by Andrea Hanneman. And when you go through the book, the pictures are gorgeous, because she's still in Hawaii, and she has the most gorgeous little boys with white blonde hair. Let's see if you can see them. Look at those kids. That hair is beautiful. Look at that. So yeah, those are the things that I'm doing. So I am gonna wind this up for now. And oh, there's one other thing I wanted to share with you. I keep moving around, I'm sorry. Okay. So I haven't washed this yet, but Stephen is cleaning out his basement. We did a whole purgy, cleany thing, and he found this, and it was ready to go in the dumpster. I'm like, whoa, wait. This is a special painting technique, and my grandmother, I have a piece from my grandmother that it's like painting on porcelain. It's not toll painting at all, but there was a name for it. It's very late Victorian type of painting. And you can tell because whoever did the painting, they marked the date. So this was done in 1996, October 22. So, yeah, but I thought it was really pretty. So I'm gonna wash it up, and I don't know, I might hang this somewhere. It's so pretty. So, okay, well, I hope everybody has a great Saturday. I am gonna get out and do some mowing and do some weeding, and probably take Gabe for a walk. And the rest of this video is about my trip to Connecticut. And also, I'll just give you a little farm update. So if you don't want to hear the rest of this, then I'll see you later. There's nothing spectacular anyway. Let's see. The horses are doing fine, of course. The farrier came out and trimmed them a couple weeks ago, and everybody's doing great. Chickens are laying eggs like nobody's business. They're doing good. And the bees, I have 2 new hives. The one hive is really going gangbusters. In fact, I've got to take some sugar water over there and fill up the hives. And the other one is kind of struggling a little bit. So we put a new queen in there, and because there wasn't any larvae, it didn't look like there were any eggs in there at all. So something happened to her. So we put a new queen in on Thursday, so we're going to check and release her into the hive tomorrow before I head back to Bluefield. So that's what's happening with the bees. And my garden is doing great. I have some really good ideas for some up and coming podcasts. One of the things that I did this year, I planted a very small crop of flax. And unfortunately, I think flax should be planted ideally in the spring. Pennsylvania Germans traditionally planted flax on Good Friday. And I planted it pretty late in the season, and it didn't take. So I do have some processed flax up in the barn, and so I'm going to put together a video where I show you. I have everything to process flax into to take it from the stalk and process it to the thread. So it might be a combination of a couple videos, but I'd like to share that process with you. And I think a really good time to do that is in September. So next month I will put that together. There's also what's coming up, I think it's right after Labor Day, if they still have it, there is a festival that is put on by, I think it's called Mountain Craft Days, and it's put on by the Historical Society of Somerset. And I believe that same weekend they also do, in a place called Stallstown, PA, they do a flax, they have kind of a flax festival as well. She's a cuddle bug. Watch. Kitty. Kitty. Normally she talks back to me. She might be camera shy. So that is something that's coming up in the works. And then I have a couple other ideas for my channel that I have to get into the works that I'll share with you once I get some videos ready to post. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the footage that I have here, and thank you so much for following along with me. Boy, this is like an hour. I think my video is going to be over an hour. Yikes. But anyway, thank you so much. I will remember to put my Instagram account and my Etsy account. I do have a couple things in my Etsy account. I hope to do some more posting of some items as I make them. So I'll post those two things, as well as my blog, connection to my blog post. And if you have any questions about anything that I've mentioned, feel free to send me a note. I can also post my email account as well. But in the meantime, if you like my content, I really hope that you will give me a thumbs up. Please comment on anything that you've seen here. It really does help my channel to grow. And above all, if you like what's here, feel free to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It just really helps my channel grow. So thank you so much for joining me. And hi, Mom. Alrighty, bye for now. Now, what is this called? Harbor Point. It's really pretty.